Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get started with the newest chapter of Sakamoto Days. Sorry to keep you waiting. It's Father's Day, and I was out with father, with family, having that good food right after church. So now it's time for the only manga reaction for today because One Piece does not have one. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Yo, peoples! Qushu92 here. Welcome back to more Sakamoto Days. I see here on Viz, after this chapter, we're not going on break, which means we're gonna get at least another. Yeah, one more chapter, which is gonna be the last Sunday of this month, because the 28th is literally next week, and cuz after next week, Endless Ragnarok! I can't wait. It's going to be good. But first and foremost, Gaku is awake. He's alive and awake. So I am equally concerned about his motives due to the fact that he wants to settle the score that he had with Old Man Takamura. And before, and mind you, he was cut down and apparently unconscious during the event of Uzuki gaining the copied personality of Old Man Takamura and then cutting down the most powerful assassin in history, cutting him down and basically becoming the new Old Man Takamura. However, Gaku's awake and sees that, he apparently knows that Uzuki is capable of assimilating a person's personality into himself, perfectly emulating how that person behaved and even fights, along with that same level of strength. And are we good? Because all of a sudden, my phone was like going like, okay, we're good. But Gaku is thinking that the Old Man Takamura, the Takamura personality, I keep including the Old Man honorific, but the Takamura personality still exists within Uzuki. So he's like, so you're in there somewhere. Fine, I'm gonna fight Uzuki so that way I can settle the score. Kashima wants to put him back to sleep because he doesn't want anyone interrupting Sakamoto taking it to Uzuki right now. So, while I originally thought that after Tanabata, the only person we needed to worry about was Uzuki, we now have another person who's in play here. So let's see what happens in days 264, the ultimate ideal. And we're starting off just literally inside of the amusement park where Uzuki and Sakamoto have been fighting this entire time, and all the civilians are running out. Someone's on a rampage over there! Run! Run! And then one person runs into a very tall individual. Watch where you're going, moron! And the moron he's speaking to is none other than Kanaguri, who is carrying Akira on his shoulder right now. And Kanaguri immediately jabs both of his fingers inside of this guy's mouth in order to keep him quiet, and he goes, "Shh, extras on set shouldn't make any unnecessary noise." And we get a big half-panel shot of literally the gate of the amusement park being completely obliterated, and we have Sakamoto who's being sent flying backwards. So, he succeeded in holding back Takamura's persona, but Sakamoto must have noticed. And we see Uzuki just airborne, utterly airborne, spinning his chain whip around him, and then proceeded to try and bring down his whip on Sakamoto, who easily jumps away. And Sakamoto is bleeding from the head just a little bit. And then Uzuki starts speaking to Sakamoto. "Did you think you would have a shot at winning if you lured me out? Your skills can't possibly have declined so far that you can't even grasp the difference in our abilities. I'll kill you, and I'll continue onward." And then Sakamoto speaks. "Onward? There's nowhere for you to go. You've already reached your goals." "Huh? What are you talking about? I have to create a world where kind people like Rion can. Your only goal is to kill, to destroy all order. There's nothing beyond that. Are you insinuating that everything I've done has been meaningless? Yes! You killed assassins and took over the JAA. You even killed innocent bystanders. All you've done is kill. Killing achieves nothing. And then Uzuki is just standing there, like, kind of dumbfounded. I have no idea how to save you, but I can stop you. And then Sakamoto starts to take out a pen. Oh, this is just like John Wick taking out a pencil. He takes out a pen. You think you're so superior, huh? You're a killer too! And then it cuts to a beautiful double spread panel shot. Like, one part is half of this panel where Sakamoto is literally defending himself from Uzuki using nothing. Wait, can you guys see? Is chat on? Is it on? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, sorry about that. And Sakamoto is literally defending himself from Uzuki's whip using nothing but a pen. Why did an ad just play? What in the world just happened there? I got the playback on my phone. It should not be playing any ads because I just turned it off. Oh, that's messed up. I just turned it off and I took a screenshot. Why did it turn on? Because it's not supposed to be on. Give me a sec. It's not supposed to be on at all. Why are you... I'm sorry, everybody. But Sakamoto is defending himself. Sakamoto is defending himself from Uzuki's whip using nothing but his pen. And then Sakamoto pops off the top of the pen. And mind you, it's like one of those, click pencils. It's actually not a pen, but it's a click pencil. He pops the top off, and he immediately fires like a small sliver of lead towards Uzuki. And Uzuki deflects it. And then Sakamoto comes in and punches Uzuki directly in the face and sends him flying straight through a part of a wall, like straight through a wall. And Uzuki lands on a far-off wall behind and then whips his whip forward, and Sakamoto takes his flip-flop off and uses it and flings it forward. And not only dodges the whip, but the flip-flop itself travels at such a speed that it starts traveling up Uzuki's hand. And Uzuki has to let go, and the flip-flop comes off of the whip itself and flies into a wall and leaves a crater in the wall. And then Sakamoto, while Uzuki is airborne, is above him and basically kicks him. You know the way that Kizaru kicked Scratchman Apu into the building during the Sabaody arc of One Piece? He kicks Uzuki directly into this merry-go-round. And Uzuki is on this merry-go-round as it's going, and Sakamoto is already down there with him. Mind you, Uzuki has just righted himself and he's looking around, and Sakamoto is already in the ride with him, and he has one of the poles that the horses are on, and he's standing there in front of him, and you just see the whites of his glasses. And when Sakamoto goes to jab at Uzuki, Uzuki has Takamura's sword, Mr. Takamura's katana. And then Uzuki is just looking at him, and then he slashes straight through the entire merry-go-round. He slashes through the entire merry-go-round, and in the hopes of getting to Sakamoto as well. And then Uzuki goes, "Still had your apron on. Still had your apron, huh?" And then Sakamoto is standing there with the slash hitting his apron, not even cutting it in half, but hitting his apron as he just stands there and goes, Let's settle this once and for all, Uzuki. To be continued. Oh, the story is about to get close to ending. It's about to get close to ending. Sakamoto is saying, let's go ahead and end this. It's time for this to end. That's the end of the chapter. This was a whole chapter just dedicated to the fight of Uzuki versus Sakamoto. Ooh! And Kanaguri's recording all of this. And mind you, Uzuki is talking like he's capable of bringing down Sakamoto permanently. Because he's going, did you think you would have a shot at winning if you lured me out? Your skills can't possibly have declined so far that you can't even grasp the difference in our abilities. And I'm like, bruh, I don't think you understand just how strong Sakamoto is right now. He brought down every member of the Order and every person that tried to fight him in short order. Not only that, he's clashing evenly with you right now, and he's barely even trying. He is literally using household objects, small stuff, like lead pencils, to literally fight you. He literally is fighting you with flip-flops to the point where you have to let go of your chain whip that you're using in order to keep fighting. He's using flip-flops to fight you! What does that say about your level of strength if he's using literally his own clothes to fight you and you're not easily destroying his flip-flops, you're not easily destroying him? You have really been on the defensive a whole lot of this. And Sakamoto has been, for the most part, dodging everything you've been doing. Your skills can't possibly have declined so far that you can't even grasp the difference in our abilities. I'll kill you, and I'll continue onward. And Sakamoto's all like, onward? There's nowhere for you to go. You've already reached your goals. Yeah, he's saying like you've already reached your goals. What are you talking about? I have to create a world where kind people like Rion can. Your only goal is to kill, to destroy all order. There's nothing beyond that. Are you insinuating that everything I've done has been meaningless? Yes, because you have not created a world where people like Rion can exist. You have created a world where chaos has been the #1 driving point for people's ideals. You cannot say you're creating a world where kind people like Rion can live if your first order of business is taking over an entire country, taking over literally having the Prime Minister of Japan in your back pocket, taking over the infrastructure, the military, and everything else that has to do with the entire nation of Japan, and then saying it is going to be legal without any repercussions for people to kill other people for any reason. You cannot obviously think that a world where kind people like Rion can live and exist is going to come from basically literally instigating just people killing each other over the smallest things. And there have been many casualties. 352,000 people are dead because of him. There is literally no way you look at this and go, this is fine. There is literally no way you look at this and go, this is the world that Rion can be proud to live in. Your only goal is to kill, to destroy all order. There's nothing beyond that. Are you insinuating that everything I've done has been meaningless? You killed assassins and took over the JAA. You even killed innocent bystanders, something that Rion would not do. All you've done is kill. Killing achieves nothing. I have no idea how to save you, but I can stop you. And this angers Uzuki because he goes, you think you're so superior, huh? You're a killer too. No, he was a killer. You are a killer. He gave up the whole life of killing people to be with his wife. And from that point on, he hasn't killed a single person. He's heavily incapacitated, but he hasn't killed a single person. Meanwhile, Uzuki, ever since his first kill, has been killing non-stop since. Anyone that stood in his way, he's killed. Anyone that stood in Sakamoto's way, he's beaten into submission. But not one of them is dead, though. So yeah, Sakamoto is the superior one here, simply because he's able to achieve his goals and his ideals without going out of the way of killing other people. Uzuki, on the other hand, has made it feel like he's justified in killing all those who stand in his way simply because of what his brother Asaki did to him. Basically threatening the lives of his friends at Alkamar, and then he hasn't stopped. And then even after killing the one person that basically pretty much spiraled him and sent him down this descent of madness, even then, he still continues to kill, even though he doesn't have a reason to. He doesn't have a reason to keep killing people now that his brother's dead. There's no one who can make him do what he does now, except him. So even after his brother's dead, the only reason why he keeps killing is because he thinks it's the only way. He's doing this. This is the decision that he's made. This ain't got nothing to do with Rion. This ain't got nothing to do with Asaki. Asaki's dead. Rion's dead. There's no reason why he should keep killing except only because he wants to. Like Sakamoto said, all you've done is kill. Killing achieves nothing. And if he's looking for a peaceful world to be gained by killing everyone, I mean, how peaceful is a world going to be if the only ones who exist in it are the ones who are only still alive and you've killed everyone else? You're not creating a world of peace. You're not creating a world where kind people can live. You're creating a world perpetrated by endless carnage, murder, and chaos. So then it's just the rest of it is just a big old montage of Uzuki and Sakamoto fighting each other. Sakamoto literally using his flip-flop at such a speed that it travels up his entire whip, and Uzuki has to let go of the whip in order to avoid getting his hand basically crushed by the flip-flop, which also leaves a big hole in a wall. Mind you, flip-flops, as far as I know, they tend to be made of rubber. You know, something that can stand the test of constant use, something that is extremely comfortable for people who are wearing socks and wearing them all the time. But for a flip-flop to have so much force behind it that it leaves a crater in a wall, what are those made out of? Kevlar? You got Kevlar flip-flops on? But before Uzuki can realize, he gets kicked into a merry-go-round. Sakamoto is ready for him using one of the poles from a merry-go-round and then jabs it at Uzuki, who blocks with Takamoto's sword. Now, the thing is, Uzuki's eyes don't look the same as Takamoto's when he's fighting. It's still the eyes of Uzuki. However, Uzuki does have the strength necessary to wield it because he basically slices this entire merry-go-round in half in the hopes of taking out Sakamoto as well. But Sakamoto's got his apron on. And if he's got his apron on, that means, yeah, we're done here. And Uzuki's looking like, still had your apron, huh? And Sakamoto just simply says, let's settle this once and for all, Uzuki. So and the thing is, we are not going on break for the next chapter. If this means that the next chapter is still going to be centered on Sakamoto, and we end the fight, then I wonder how Gaku's going to play into it. Or is it going to switch over to Gaku trying to make his way over to Uzuki? And then we also have to factor in Nagumo as well, because they both want to make their way towards Uzuki. They both want to make their way towards Uzuki. One wants to take him out because he knows that Sakamoto isn't the killing type anymore. The other wants to make his way towards Uzuki because he wants to settle the score with the Takamoto personality. And apparently, he's not, the Takamoto personality isn't 100% gone, it is just suppressed right now. Simply because of what Sakamoto said. Because from the beginning, Kanaguri says so he succeeded in holding back Takamoto's personality, but Sakamoto must have noticed. Meaning meaning that the Takamoto personality has the potential to reappear again, but it's more like suppressed and it's less likely to happen despite the bloodlust that's, happening right now. And if that Takamoto personality creeps up because of an enormous amount of bloodlust, like say Gaku and his bloodlust against wanting to fight Takamoto, that personality could have the potential to appear again, as far as I know. But we do not have long before this fight comes to an end, because Sakamoto's got his apron on. It's no longer like, oh, I'm just fighting you with my regular clothes. Now I got my apron, and that apron was capable of protecting me from that slash that you just used. Now, my thing is, in the previous panel, Sakamoto does not have the apron on. But as soon as he sees the katana, he's all like, oh, this is about to be dangerous, and puts it on before Uzuki can slice in that instance. So with Sakamoto saying, let's settle this once and for all, Uzuki, this fight is about to reach its absolute pinnacle, and then we're going to be done. Whether Gaku actually gets there in time to do something, whether Nagamo gets there in time to do something, remains to be seen. But I am so glad that we got a chapter that was centered on the fight between Uzuki and Sakamoto. And Sakamoto is literally trying to tell Uzuki, like, your goals of trying to make a world where kind people like Rion can live, it's not going to exist because all you've done is just kill in order to achieve this peaceful world. And killing doesn't achieves nothing. Meanwhile, Sakamoto's out here beating his people into submission, and some of them are like, you know what? You sure enough right. Maybe I need to follow Sakamoto's example with this. You're late, Halster. It's fine. It is perfectly fine. I didn't get started until like 4:10, 4:11, so you're perfectly fine. It's been a busy day for fathers. I'm not one, but I was enjoying time with mine. So you're perfectly all right. You enjoyed this chapter? I did as well. I've just been talking about the potential of what could happen before this fight is over. I don't know why this thing keeps trying to refresh. Hold on. Let me refresh my page here. Okay, ads automator is turned off. Yeah, Halster, I ran into a trouble. I started this stream where ads were like manual. I would have to manually put them in, and then halfway through it turned them on automatically, which is what I don't want. So I'm gonna question YouTube about this because this should not be happening. I don't ever want it happening in my manga read-through, so it's weird. It was weird. But I enjoyed this chapter as well. Seeing Sakamoto fight Uzuki the way he was, like, this is how you know this is peak Sakamoto fighting. When he's like, I don't know how to save you, but I will stop you. He's fighting this man with a lead pen. Was not expecting Uzuki to pull out the sword. Neither was I. Because we haven't seen him. We didn't. Where did the sword even come from? We've been seeing him fight with his chain whip the whole time. He's not even shown carrying the sword. So where did the sword even come from? Like, you see him in the air on pages 4 and 5, and he's just whipping his whip all around, destroying the entire environment inside of this amusement park, and we just see his chain whip. And as soon as Sakamoto uses both his lead pencil, and even his flip-flop to make Uzuki drop the whip, where was the sword even? Because as soon as Sakamoto goes in to try and stab into Uzuki, Uzuki blocks the pole with the sword. So I'm wondering, where did it even come from? And it shows that even though the Takamoto personality is not present and, taken over right now, he's still strong enough to slice apart an entire merry-go-round. But it's not enough to break through Sakamoto's apron. You always forget how physically strong Uzuki is, right? Right? See, you would think that it's easy to overlook how physically strong Uzuki is on his own, due to the fact that when you saw him using the old man Takamoto, the Takamoto personality, He was just slicing apart buildings and everywhere around him, and it's like, oh, he's using this personality to give him that extra strength. But then you realize this is just how strong Uzuki is. And he's the only one who can replicate Sakamoto's strength because that's just how strong Uzuki is. So even though the persona isn't active right now, he's still physically strong enough to do something similar to Sakamoto. He cut the merry-go-round. He has like one of the most deceptive musculature builds where he doesn't look it, but he is. Yeah, this is crazy level of strength where you cut straight through an entire merry-go-round, including all the horses that are on the outer edge of the merry-go-round itself. If you're on the other side and you slash towards a person, and that slash basically destroys an entire merry-go-round and everything around it, no, you're physically strong. You are crazy strong. But it's still not strong enough to break through Sakamoto's apron, though. Which means that despite how strong, because you know what I think? I think if it was truly Sakamoto who was slashing Sakamoto, he would have sliced through that apron. But since it's not Sakamoto and it's Uzuki, while strong, lacks the Sakamoto level strength in order to slice through the apron of Sakamoto. Because Sakamoto's apron just has like the smoking coming from the slash itself, but the apron itself is still perfectly fine. And Sakamoto's just standing there like, let's settle this once and for all, Uzuki. So, I don't know how many more chapters we got of Sakamoto Days. We are not going on break next week, which means the last chapter we get of Sakamoto in the month of June will be the last Sunday. It will be June. Will be next week. Love how Kanaguri is casually carrying Akira. That got a laugh out of me. Like, he doesn't want to lose his leading lady. Like, that's his muse. That's his leading lady. He doesn't want to leave her behind. Because what if she has a part to play in the middle of his film? Because he's still filming. He's just watching all of this go down. Mind you, when you think about it, think about how many people are going to be wanting to watch the movie of Kanaguri that shows Uzuki, the man known as X or Slur, fighting the legendary assassin Taro Sakamoto. And how many people want to watch the movie of that fight, that entire fight go down? Because Kanaguri has been recording this whole fight. Can you imagine just how action-packed that whole film will be? Just showing the fight between Sakamoto and Uzuki on film? As well as the shush part with him, civilians being civilians in this verse. Yeah, they're all like, dude, watch where you're going, you moron. And I'm like, brother, you are calling someone who is 3 feet taller than you a moron, and he's not even paying attention to you, he's just recording. Then he jabs both his fingers in this dude's throat. Like, my thing is, when you go to, like, the beginning of the chapter, when he's talking, Kanaguri has more than enough strength to rip that guy's head off with those 2 fingers. But he's all like, shh, extras on set shouldn't make any unnecessary noise. And we're just seeing Sakamoto just fighting Uzuki the whole time. So this was a very nice chapter. I enjoyed it. Because Uzuki is all like, I'll kill you and I'll continue onward. And then, of course, he's doing like the bad guy, your skills can possibly have declined so far that you can't even grasp the difference in our abilities. I hope this actually catches the stuff on film. What if it gets to the point they're moving too fast, the camera can't capture the actual action? This is like, this would be like, Bruce Lee being told to actually slow down while they were filming because Bruce Lee was actually too fast for the cameras to catch up to. So he actually had to slow down because that's how fast Bruce Lee was. But I wouldn't be surprised if it gets to the point during filming that Sakamoto and Uzuki are fighting so fast that it's too fast for a camera to track. But then again, this is Kanaguri. You think he would get a camera that can't capture every bit of action from an assassin, including how fast they are? This dude probably has the slow-mo guy's level of cameras when it comes to recording, so he can capture everything. It wouldn't surprise me if he has like a very powerful camera that can capture everything. Also loving that Sakamoto is having the same question as the audience. He needs to stop Uzuki, but doesn't know how to save him. Yeah, yeah, I have no idea how to save you, but I can stop you. And this man takes out a lead pencil. You know Sakamoto is getting serious when he starts using pieces of his office. He start using office supplies as his fighting tools. See, this is why I told you that this is a mixture of John Wick and Jackie Chan, because Sakamoto fights on a level of lethality as John Wick, but with the resourcefulness of Jackie Chan. That is literally Sakamoto's entire fighting style. And he takes out a lead pencil, and you can see here, I have no idea how to save you, but I can stop you. And Uzuki is saying, like, you think you're so superior, huh? You're a killer too. And mind you, I said this before you showed up, Halster. The difference between Sakamoto and Uzuki is that Sakamoto was a killer. Was. Past tense. Previously. Used to be a killer. Uzuki is a killer. Still is a killer. Continues to be a killer. Anyone who stands in his way dies. He really doesn't spare people that stand in his way. At all. He doesn't really spare anybody. He goes out of his way to kill those that have irked him. He literally spent this entire arc sending people after Sakamoto while he was in a coma to ensure that he died, because he knew that if Sakamoto woke up, he was going to be a problem. And ever since Sakamoto woke up, he has been a problem and taken on every single situation as if it's yet another Tuesday to him. That's how much of a threat Sakamoto is to everything that Uzuki has been doing. But Uzuki has just been perpetrating this thought that, oh, you used to be a killer, but you're still a killer. No, I used to be, until my world changed when he met his wife and had a daughter. His whole view on how he leads his life completely changed when he met Aoi. But Uzuki has just been living a life where killing those that stand in your way has been his MO, has been his default thought. You know what's sad? Uzuki could have stopped being a killer, but the Rion murder happened and just hasn't been able to recover from it. It's sad and I feel bad for him, but he needs to be stopped. He does need to be stopped because he has such a jaded view of the world that it's better for him to create a world where people kill each other in order to introduce a world of peace where kind people can live in. However, this is not something that Rion would approve of. Because her time, when she was alive, was her trying to fight in order for both herself and Uzuki to live a peaceful life. And then she was going to stop. However, Asaki got tossed into the mix and made it so that, this person is leading you down a path of peace. But I don't want you I don't want you in a peaceful life. I need you killing. So, in order to ensure that you follow through, we have someone you need to kill. And if you don't kill them, I will kill all your friends in Alkmaar. Mind you, this was during the time when Asaki was trying to make Uzuki kill Kendaka during the flashback. So already jading the mind of his little brother just to suit his own ends. Then it got even worse when Uzuki and Rion were on their own and they were trying to get away from the JAA. Asaki found them regardless and still made his brother continue down this path of killing. However, everything after Rion's death has been Uzuki's choice. He did not have to keep killing people. And even though he got away from his brother and then eventually killed his brother, he still continued down this path of might makes right. Let me kill everyone who stands in my way or bothers me or is an affront to my plans. He has killed everyone who has stood against him. Or at least tried to kill everyone that stood against him. Those who stood against him are either dead or were heavily incapacitated, such as the case with Shishiba and, Osaragi, and him trying to kill, Shin. But his first go-to has been to literally kill anyone who has said, no, I'm not following you. So this whole idea that he's gonna usher in this world where kind people like Rion can live is utter nonsense. Simply because, and I said this beforehand, but you guys weren't here, This man took over Japan, took over its entire infrastructure from internet access to military to its police to even the entire JAA itself, and literally gave guns out to every single citizen and said, you get 3 bullets. Use them however you want. You will suffer no legal or criminal repercussions at all. That thinking that, well, if we just have everyone kill each other, then everyone will realize that the only way to move forward is to live peacefully, where kind people can live as well. I can't imagine something so asinine, something so insane like kill all the people in your neighborhood. Only then will your neighborhood be peaceful. That does not lead to the result that you think it does. If everyone kills everyone in your neighborhood, all it's going to be known for is a neighborhood where everyone killed each other. It's not going to suddenly become a peaceful neighborhood. All you've done is just usher in this whole notion that it's okay to kill people if it means making things peaceful in the end, but at the same time, you're still killing. If you're not doing what Sakamoto is doing is he's living the life that Uzuki thinks everyone else should be having. But it's not, he hasn't understood that Sakamoto's life is at peace. Aside from, the assassins trying to kill him ever since the beginning of the story. But he doesn't realize that the peaceful world he's looking for, Sakamoto has already been living in. But Uzuki is kind of lost in the thought that if I kill enough people, then the world will be more peaceful. And then kind people like Rion can live in it. But by killing thousands upon hundreds of thousands of people, because 352,000, or it's either 350,000 or 352,000 people died ever since he put that rule into place. Ever since he gave people the ability to fire their guns at whoever or whatever bothered them. That's how many people died under Uzuki. And Japan does not seem any more peaceful than it was before he showed up. In fact, all it did was just introduce chaos. Because you got people who are actually looking at Uzuki and saying like, yeah, he's right. That sort of insane following where you got a cult following saying like, yeah, it's all right to kill everyone. Let's go ahead and kill these amount of people in order for this world to be peaceful again. That's how crazy Uzuki has caused things. So him thinking that a kind world is gonna come from all of this is completely insane. The Rion personality also hasn't come into play yet either, so there's also that to look out for. Right. The Rion personality has not appeared at all. The Sakamoto personality is currently, suppressed. It's currently stunted, and Uzuki is not able to use it. But that Rion personality, that hasn't appeared yet. And Sakamoto's already saying, let's settle this once and for all, Uzuki. So we're soon going to be coming up on the moment that is going to decide the future of Japan. Soon. The story of Sakamoto Days is about to draw to its conclusion. I'm saying that right now, because if Sakamoto is saying, like, let's settle this once and for all, there's only so many more chapters of Sakamoto Days left. But part of me feels like it's not going to stop here in June. I believe it may stop in July. I think July may be the last month we get Sakamoto Days. If you want me to be completely honest with you. When summer officially starts, like really gets into full swing, I believe that's when it's going to stop. And that does worry slightly because we know Rion was great at fighting with weapons, but that's not what I'm worried about. I'm more concerned about the path's technique. Yeah, the path of killing that Rion is capable of using. The very same path that allowed Uzuki to stab Sakamoto in the chest, and that's what put Sakamoto into that coma. So that's definitely something to be concerned about. However, what doesn't kill you definitely makes you stronger in this series. Because Sakamoto is back, and people that gave him trouble the first go around were easily no-diffed as soon as he got up. Torres, whom Sakamoto was never able to beat before this whole arc started, literally got manhandled and beaten like he was nothing at all the moment Sakamoto woke up and realized, okay, this fat form of mine, this is my strongest. Let's go all out. All of you, get ready. Literally, he told everyone, all of you. That was a nice break. Now, all of you, get ready. Literally told everyone, y'all better get ready because I'm back and I am better than ever. So while the path's technique is something to be concerned about, I really don't think that's going to become a concern for Sakamoto, simply because Sakamoto had a Saiyan level reawakening ever since he came out of his coma. Uzuki was able to use the path technique on Sakamoto first, and it worked, but I don't think it's going to happen again. I honestly don't think it's going to happen again, because Sakamoto learns. When something is used on him or used against him, he adapts quickly, very quickly. This man took one of his flip-flops off and shot it at Uzuki in order to make him drop his whip. I do think Sakamoto is about to show us how to completely counter the technique or avoid it, since he also knew Rion well, but you can't sleep on that technique. Oh, I'm not sleeping on it. It's incredibly dangerous. For it to work on Sakamoto, and Sakamoto wasn't able to do anything about it. Mind you, at the time, let's not forget, when it worked on Sakamoto, Sakamoto himself wasn't even mentally at 100% because he was still jaded by the thought that his store exploding and being blown up also took the life of his wife and daughter. So he was still not at 100%. He was at least 50, maybe 60%. He wasn't 100% there. So that's also another reason why the path of killing technique worked on him, because he wasn't focused. He was still jaded. He was trembling. Even when he went to go save Shin and Atari, he was still shaking. But Sakamoto has that resolve now. That's the difference. Sakamoto is 100%. Sakamoto has been 100% locked in ever since he woke up. He is 110% locked in. That's the difference. He's 100% locked in right now. And now he's got his apron on. And you already know when Sakamoto has the apron on, it's like, okay, now I'm ready to bring this to a close. Supposedly. That's just my assumption. But we'll have to see. This was a good chapter. I enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to the next one. Especially the one that's going to close out this month as well. I am really looking forward to that one. But overall, good chapter, and I can't wait for the 28th, the last Sunday of June. Can't wait for it. I know I said I think Nagumo is going to fight Gaku, but I can't lie. Gaku fighting Uzuki could potentially be a thing as well. Because I brought this up. When I was about to read the chapter. I also really wouldn't mind if Nagumo had another interaction with the Rion personality. The only way we're going to see how this story goes, whether or not Nagumo has a last talk with the Rion personality, is Nagumo and Gaku. You know what I think? This could be a possibility. While Sakamoto is still fighting Uzuki, and Sakamoto is looking to end this fight now, like it's gone on long enough, what if Nagumo and Gaku get there, both there for Uzuki, and then, Gaku and Nagumo trying to, get to Uzuki, but neither one of them wants the other to get to Uzuki? Like, from Gaku's standpoint, it could be he doesn't want anyone to kill Uzuki because he wants to fight the Sakamoto personality and beat him so he can finally settle the score. Nagumo wants to kill Uzuki because not only of what happened with Rion, but also because Uzuki is a major threat. And those polarizing hopes for both of them could clash with each other, with Nagumo and Gaku having another rematch, and then that fight deciding who gets to get close to Uzuki. This is all just purely conjecture. It holds no weight whatsoever. This is just my assumption of something I would think would be cool. But the potentiality of Gaku versus Uzuki, if things don't go in Nagumo's favor, that is also a very present thing as well. Because while Gaku was an individual that stayed with Uzuki and chilled with Uzuki, especially with during Alkamar, Gaku is also someone who apparently doesn't like to leave things unfinished. And seeing as how Sakamoto is dead, he knows that Uzuki can assimilate personas in himself perfectly and wants to fight that Sakamoto personality within him to settle that score. Either one of these could possibly happen, but like I said, just merely an assumption and purely just based off of what if it could maybe possibly happen. The only way we're going to know for sure is what happens past the next chapter. Because I don't know if the next chapter I'm pretty sure the next chapter we get is not going to be the last one. Definitely isn't. But July feels like it may be that month where Sakamoto Days ends. It could be that month. But there's still some questions left unanswered. What is Gaku going to do? Because remember, Kashima, just fun speculation. Of course, it's always fun speculation. Because remember, Kashima wanted to put Gaku back to sleep. And Gaku was looking at him going, Mr. Kashima, as if to say, like, are you about to do something you're going to regret? We don't know what happened to Kashima after that little glare from Gaku, but that's a look from Gaku going like, you're not about to put me back to sleep because I want to go where Uzuki is. And out of everyone within Alkamar, everyone on Uzuki's group, the strongest people is, well, if we counted him, Tenkyu, then Uzuki, then Gaku. Just purely based on strength and how strong they all are. Those three people. Kashima would not last in a fight simply because his body has not been returned to its former state. Despite the fact that he was sliced apart, he was still alive. He has not replaced his legs because he's still rolling on tank treads. The same tank treads that Hana put him on. So, seeing what happened to Gaku after this, like what happened to Kashima, and if Kashima is still alive, because you know Gaku, he's not exactly one to take prisoners. He's one to beat people into submission, especially considering when he first arrived in the story, he hit a person so hard it left a hole in their torso, like a whole chunk of their torso was just gone. So Gaku doesn't strike me as a person with subtle fighting or subtle killing at all. He's very, very destructive. But once again, speculation. We'll have to see what happens in the next chapter. But overall, this was a very good one, and I'm looking forward to the next one. That's all I got, ladies and gentlemen. Time for me to react to the newest episode of One Piece and get that out to you guys. With that being said, hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and only if what I did here today was worthy of that. Check out my membership or Patreon because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!